Hey everybody, I just wanted to show and go over a little bit the four-wheel drive conversion that I'm in the process of doing on my van. It's a 1991 Airstream b190 based on the Ford Econoline chassis. And I've had a ton of questions about this. I've posted some of these on some pictures and stuff on Instagram, Facebook, or whatnot. And, I've had a lot of questions about the kit I used. Since this is a 1991, it's a third generation. No one makes bolt-on conversion kits for this year of van. So I did a little research, took some measurements, and I basically took a risk and ordered a bracket kit from Expo Vans, Oregon, also known as MG Metalworks. I'm sure a lot of you have probably heard of that. They make pretty well-known bracket kit for 4th gen or 1992 and newer Econoline vans. Not intended for use on mine, which is a 91. But based on what I looked at, research I did, I figured it would be fairly close. And I've done some stuff like this before in the past, so no stranger to some kind of modifications, fabrication, and things like that. I just didn't really have the desire to do that from scratch on this. So I figured if there was any major hiccups or anything like that that I could modify, I could get over those hurdles and it wouldn't be too big of a deal. But as it turns out, there was actually very little that I had to do. So I'll just kind of show you how it fits, but don't mind my steering stabilizer. That is one thing that, I use the bracket intended for a a 4th generation Econoline, and it wasn't intended to go on this. I actually found that it's a little too weak, so I'm going to be beefing that up. Got some little brackets kind of cut out to kind of strengthen that up. So that's why the steering stabilizer is just hanging right now. But the rest of this, you can see the coil brackets, the coil buckets, no problem. Bolts right on to 2012 F250 Super Duty axle. Sway bar is the stock sway bar. I did modify some Moog end links intended for 2012 Super Duty. I just kind of cut them and lengthened them a little bit. I'm not sure that's going to be temporary, most likely, because I was thinking about doing the Hellwig sway bar, a little bit bigger sway bar than the factory one. But here is the track bar bracket, and you can see you get a little contact right here from the tie rod end on the pitman arm. I don't know if that's typical on the 4th gen, but it's very minimal. But it was all a bolt on. I didn't have to do any crazy modifications. Didn't have to drill any holes. None of that. And there's the coil bucket, foxes. This conversion is still in progress, so it is not actually 4-wheel drive yet. Here's the radius arm bracket. And the minimal amount of modification I actually had to do was notch the frame right up there because of that little part that kind of turns down. And then I don't have a bolt in this section. Still working on that. The frame is actually completely boxed right there where that hole is, so I have to get a little more creative to get that one in there for now. Other than that, vacuum canister, I did have to relocate. It was in the way of the bracket, so I just kind of moved it up there after the brackets were in place. Go around the other side here. Got a similar situation on the other side. So here you have a charcoal canister and another charcoal canister back there. I did have to relocate both of those. They were both in the way. Same situation on the back of the bracket here. And of course the exhaust, there's so little room. I had a shop put in a smaller diameter pipe there. It's in the way of the bracket back there on the other side. I'll work through that later too. have that redone. You can see the brake lines. Super Duty brake lines bolted right up to the existing hard line. I reused the Super Duty bracket, just kind of modified it, drilled and tapped a hole right there. Yeah, so that's that. In the back, it's kind of dark in here, sorry, but we have the Skies Off-Road shackle flip. It does not bolt onto a 1991 either. I had to drill 3 of the 4 holes to get that to fit. And then I used an add-a-leaf. Probably not going to come through real well in the video, but it is a Pro Comp. I forget the number. It's a long add-a-leaf intended for a F250, I believe 99 to 04. Something along those lines. Got the Fox 2.0s back here too, and a Hellwig sway bar. I think that's about it for now. Yeah, you got any questions? Let me know.